This month marks 6 months since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine.
And in those 6 months, the entire world has been affected economically, socially, and of course, politically. And with really no clear end date in sight, Rudolph Zenaida looking into some of the consequences that war has had across our nation and right here in West Michigan. Rudolph?
Yeah, good morning, you guys. The invasion has touched us all in some way. And one Ukrainian man in Michigan was so touched that he left for Ukraine months ago, only returning this week, helping those on the front lines. And he says 6 months is already much too long.
It has been 6 months of this in Ukraine. Bombs, destruction, and devastation. Although Russia technically began its invasion of Ukraine years ago in 2014 in the Donbas region and Crimea, the scale was never quite this large. Michigan is roughly 5,000 miles away from Ukraine, but the effects of the war are reaching near and far.
It has really slowed down the overall economy across the world.
Sanctions on Russia have affected fuel costs and grain exports, raising the cost of food and just about everything else, as local economist Dr. Paul Isley explains.
Inflation is about 2 percentage points higher than it would have been if the Ukraine hadn't happened.
Aside from the economic impacts, the international political effects are vast as well. NATO countries have rallied in ways Russia was not expecting.
This kind of unity in NATO, one hasn't seen in a lot of ways since the attacks on September 11th.
And then there are the stories of resiliency and bravery. Boris Potapenko is part of the Ukrainian American Crisis Response Committee and lives in Metro Detroit, but he hasn't been in Michigan for months. He's been on the front lines in Ukraine, helping friends and family that he still has there. He joined us for a call in a facility in Mykolaiv with a wounded sniper fighting on the front lines to discuss what they're seeing 6 months in.
It's really difficult to keep the emotion out of what I've seen, the devastation and the human costs.
He says the shelling has not eased up over the months.
The atrocities against civilians, against children, against the elderly are not receding.
The violence isn't ending, and unfortunately, neither is the conflict. No one side is backing down, and there's no end date to the war.
You know, from the point of view of Ukrainians, it's their position is we will get Russia out. That's our end game. So that makes any kind of negotiated settlement obviously very, very difficult.
Still, Boris and Ukrainian fighters and officials are thanking the U.S. and other allies for what they've done. As the Ukrainian fighter with Boris, who asked to remain anonymous, shared a message all the way from Ukraine.
I want to thank the American people for their support. Their support is tangible. It's making a huge difference.
And I did have the opportunity to speak with Boris. He has safely returned to Michigan now. And there are some good humanitarian news as well. About a month ago, an agreement called the Grain Deal was reached. And that deal involves Turkey, the United Nations, and Russia, who all agreed to unblock Ukrainian ports, finally allowing the export of grain. Those exports kicked off this week. Ukraine is one of the world's largest producers of grain, and this should bring down global grain and wheat prices and other food costs as well.
Food, a large chunk of the tradable grains in the world were produced in the Ukraine. And up until just recently, they were struggling to find ways to get that grain out of the country.
For more on the war in Ukraine and how local businesses are stepping up to help, you can look for all of our continuing coverage on our website. That's fox17online.com. For now, reporting live in studio, Rudolph Zenaida, Fox 17 News.